Green Bay, Wisconsin. So excited to be here for this week's Office Hours. Welcome to another edition of Bunker Office Hours, a weekly live show brought to you by Bunker Labs, yours truly, a national network of veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs dedicated to helping the military-connected community start and grow their own businesses. So we are talking to you today. We know that 25% of transitioning service members want to start a business, and they need places inside of their communities where they can connect with people, fellow entrepreneurs, fellow military connected entrepreneurs, to really get the support and the network that they need to really start those businesses. So enter Bunker Labs. With that, great segue into kind of the things that are happening around the country. Amy, what do we have going on this week?
Thanks, Shelby. This week, actually, it's not even this week. It's actually next week. We have no events this week. So next week, we've got a Bunker Connect in Las Vegas on Wednesday, November 9th, or maybe that's 2 weeks, actually. Anyway, next event is November 9th, whenever that is. Right. And that is going to be it's an opening of a golf course, I believe. So that's at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, November 9th. And then the next event after that is the next day on Thursday, November 10th. We've got our Veterans and Residents Pitch Competition presented by Ford Fund. And that is a virtual national event that's going to be happening on the internet November 10th at 12 p.m. Central Time. So you want to come check out. We're giving, well, I say we, Ford Fund has generously given us some money to give to the winner of the pitch competition. I think top prizes.
Yeah. So first prize is $15,000. Yeah. So super exciting. Second prize is $7,500. Third place prize is $3,500. So it's like game changer money that we're talking about. So excited. Yours truly will be hosting it. So if you're not annoyed by me from this office hours, then you can come and check me out for the pitch competition. It's going to be really, really fun. We actually just selected the top 3 companies yesterday. So working with them to get them all prepped and ready. Thank you very much, Amy. We're very excited for all those events. And again, you can find the links to RSVP on Eventbrite for those and get the dial-in links and all that good stuff. All right, so without further ado, we are going to transition to their topic for the day, which I'm personally very excited about because I am absolutely obsessed with food, as I'm sure many of us are, especially delicious pasta. So we are going to be talking about the ups and downs of opening a restaurant, which is, so timely today. And our guest is the very own Danielle Lee of Farina Pasta, based out of Philadelphia. Danielle has been in our VIR program 2 cohorts, Danielle? Is that official?
Yeah, we're coming up on the 2. And so I think I'm into the 3rd one now.
Oh, yes. That's so exciting. And, just having you in Philly has been so fun. We've really seen your journey over the past couple of years, and there have been some really bad days. I remember but also some amazing days. So, and that is just like, the nutshell of entrepreneurship. So I do want to kind of get things kicked off with learning a little bit more about how you got into this pasta game and what you've been up to the past couple. Let's see, it was officially a month, we said, that you've been open.
Yeah, officially a month in the new location, but then we started this back in, October of last year. So that's when we got started in the Ghost Kitchen. But the whole planning for all of this started really back in like 2018. Yeah, wow. Started 2018. This whole thing was supposed to start as a food truck, and fortunately the food truck never worked out. So we were kind of like looking around to see what was coming, what we could do instead of the food truck. Mm-hmm. But then COVID happened, and that just locked everything down.
Ugh, yeah. I know. And Danielle, for those of us who are tuning in and are not familiar with the Ghost Kitchen, full honesty, I had to Google it before this. I love that we're sticking with the Halloween theme this week. So really, really tugging at my heartstrings. But how did you, kind of discover that and then choose that as a path for your business?
So, I found out originally about the Ghost Kitchens through one of my connections. He just sends me stuff every now and then, and he was like, "Hey, check this out. And when he sent it to me, this is when we were trying to build the food truck. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Basically, it's just like, think of an apartment complex or an apartment building, but for kitchens. So the model is really everybody gets their own little space. The one that we were in had a closing door, and in there was like a 200 square foot kitchen, which is tiny, but just enough space for your cooking equipment and whatever supplies you can fit in there, and dishwashing area.
Sure.
And yeah, so you can configure it the way that you want, whatever it is that you need. You buy the equipment, put it in there, and just like with an apartment, I mean, you pay for utilities, you pay for whatever services you have. So with DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, stuff like that, and then you pay rent. So it's not a bad model. A little bit pricey, but for what you're getting, especially for smaller companies, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just so familiar with like the co-working space, but for your specific industry, right? I mean, it's like, I imagine you had the chance to meet and interact with people that were in a similar space then too, which was probably super helpful.
Yeah, that was great. That was one of the things I really liked about working in there was the community, because it was like an apartment and everybody was there. And because they were so small, it was always the owners that were usually walking around, working inside. So you always interacted with somebody else from like a completely different concept. And you can, little tidbits, you can help somebody out who maybe has never worked in the restaurant industry before, who doesn't know where to buy food from, or something comes up with like one of the Uber apps, and you can ask them a question, and you can kind of just help each other out. And that's kind of the thing, is everybody was really just kind of helping each other in little ways, which was nice. You didn't really see it as like a competition in a way.
Yeah. Well, especially over the past 2 years, right? I mean, it was like you guys were one of the most heavily impacted, I feel like, at your industry. I mean, because it was just like a complete pivot for everyone. I mean, I know myself, and I'm sure so many people listening in, like, it was exclusively, third-party apps that I would go through to get food, which I know has some amazing plus sides, like in order to get the word out, but I know has some negatives as well.
Yeah, that's the trade-off, and that's the whole thing with the ghost kitchen is, you have Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats. These are big, giant, major platforms. Everybody uses them, but they charge a lot of money per order, and you have to deal with their drivers, which aren't really their drivers. They're contractors, so they don't really work for the companies. They kind of work for themselves. So, the level of service that you get with each different person, the amount that's going to be charged with each order. I mean, and you got to stand out in a different way because your marketing strategy changes. It's not like you can hang a sign outside. You got to hang a sign virtually, but you can only do it through their platforms, which is difficult in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I know there were desperate times when I was going to page 8 or 10 on my apps. And, you're just like, these restaurants, they're not, those top 3 were just like whatever's easiest.
Yeah. Well, and, part of my problem with a lot of those is that they would put up the bigger name restaurants first. So you'd see a lot of McDonald's, you'd see a lot of Wendy's.
Quick Trip.
Because they get Quick Trip. They would be able to pay for the bigger spots, so they can get the preferential, pictures and really whatever they wanted to do. So like you were saying, you got to kind of scroll through all the way down to the bottom to find someone like me, which is a smaller company just starting out, doesn't really have, obviously not the money to put up front page stuff on Uber.
Yeah. But your pasta's going to be super delicious, which I've heard rave reviews. So I do, and this is my own personal curiosity, like what was it about this cuisine that kind of really took your passion and you're like, this is something that I actually want to run with?
Simple. It's really simple. It's delicious. Everybody likes it. You go to any grocery store anywhere, doesn't matter if it's the tiniest corner store or the largest Whole Foods, they all have a dedicated pasta aisle.
Yes.
It's entire just sauces and pastas of all different shapes. I haven't come across one person that's like, oh, I don't really like pasta.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
met
don't
one
think I
person that's
trust
like,
them. I don't know.
right. Yeah, I wouldn't, it's like the people who carry the pizza sideways or up and down like a briefcase. It's like, I don't know.
Oh, no, red flag.
Yeah. But, that's really what kind of got me into this was like, okay, everybody likes pasta. But when you look around in a city, and especially a city like Philadelphia, which has a major both Italian and Asian influences, I mean, we have an entire Italian market and a Chinatown.
Yeah.
There weren't really a lot of places that were between, let's say, like a pizza place that did pasta on the side, and a white tablecloth restaurant that was doing $30 plates of pasta. There's really nothing in between.
Mm-hmm.
And handmade pasta to me just makes sense. You have, everybody can go out and just buy some dry pasta, you throw it in the boiler and you throw some sauce on it, be done with it. But I felt like if you wanted to differentiate yourself from other businesses, from other pasta places, just do handmade,
Yeah.
And the is there.
Yeah. And that was your niche, right? I mean, we've talked about this so much at Bunker Labs. Like at the end of the day, there's going to be so many people, to your point, that are doing what you're doing. But what is it that you can bring that really serves as like that missed opportunity that a lot of other businesses aren't taking advantage of in the market that you're in? And that's exactly what you hit home on. I will share that my dad and I make pasta together as like a tradition, and we use coat hangers to dry the noodles out.
Yeah.
So it's a good tip just for you guys.
Yeah, coat hangers. I've seen that. I've seen I believe in Italy I've seen like they do all kinds of stuff. They'll use like dowels and they'll hang them outside. Do all kinds just to get the pasta dry or dry enough so that they can use it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we were talking about this before. I know, like, it's an experience, like and food in general, like, and that's what you're doing. And I just love hearing your passion for, food's ability to bring people together, no matter what's going on in the world. Like, I know I've noticed for sure, and I think a lot of people did during the pandemic, people leaned into food in a way that they really didn't before.
Yeah, it was surprising. It was very surprising the way, for whatever reason, sourdough bread took off.
I couldn't buy yeast, Daniel.
No,
I had to have my parents send me yeast from Florida.
You couldn't buy yeast. You couldn't buy flour. And these are things like just historically humans had a lot of. Like we always had a lot of flour, and yeast is relatively easy to come by.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, you couldn't buy yeast, you couldn't buy flour, and then every single time I would wake up and scroll through my news, you would see no less than like 5 stories of people just, this is my sourdough recipe, this is my COVID therapy that I've been doing, and it's like, this is where all the flour's been going.
Yes.
And it's kind of great though, because now people, I think, have found maybe a renewed connection with food, which I think had kind of waned because food it is prevalent. It's very prevalent, and you can get it anywhere. You can go to Taco Bell and you can load up on 30 tacos and you don't really think about it, but then all of a sudden people were like, I have nothing to do. And then it's like, oh, I could probably make some bread. And then, kind of like what we were talking about before, we started, it's that instant gratification. Once that bread comes out the oven, you slice it open, you put some butter on there, make a sandwich out of it. It's like, this is incredible. And I did it.
Yeah. Oh, and it's, to your point, it's in a world where I think so much control was really taken from us. Like, it's that immediate thing. Like, I did this, I can control it. I, did a great job or a horrible job. It's whatever. That's some good fails. But I mean, and you brought this up too, like the supply chain issues, obviously for everyone across the country, especially now as so many of the news stories lately is like buy her Christmas gifts yesterday, you know.
I'm a little worried. I don't even know what to do.
I know.
People are getting pens and pencils. I don't know what to do for people. I have no idea.
Just a heartfelt card really is
Yeah.
what I do. But how, and we talked about this before, I know too, and it'd be good for those of us tuning in that are in a similar industry, both supply issues and staffing issues. Like, how have you gotten creative, and what would you want to share with anyone that's in? It's just like, give me some words of wisdom on this. Like, what can I do?
You gotta look for different suppliers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different suppliers for my my catering, not my catering, my takeout boxes. So if one of them fails, or both of them fails, or sometimes all 3 of them fail, and I start to panic, because that's happened. I don't know, like I'll know where to go because I have 4 different suppliers. So you kind of hope, okay, hopefully you don't run out either. But it's happened where I've been down to the wire on boxes, and it's like, I'm scrambling, or forks, and stuff that you wouldn't normally think about. Like, why would it be so hard to get? I mean, I use compostable forks, so maybe that's a little more difficult to get a hold of, but still, they're pumped out by the millions. So it's just a matter of them getting here, And so, definitely having backups for backups and backups. Same thing with hiring. When you're hiring, and I've learned this lesson, I don't know how many times over, hire more people than you think, because for some reason, half of them aren't going to show up. So,
no. A, B, C, D, E, F, all those plans that you got to have in place. And I'm not familiar with the industry. How do you find those suppliers? Like, what have you found success in? Is it just like kind of word of mouth, or like really tapping into community? Is there a Facebook group? Like, how do you do this?
Yeah, word of mouth. It helps to have friends who are also in the industry, who have run restaurants, who run restaurants currently. Also just quick Google search. If you're looking for, what do I use? I use number 8 brown craft takeout containers. So I'll just type that into Google. Those companies, just like all the rest of us, have marketing teams. They run, what is it called? Search engine optimization.
Oh, sure.
So, just you'll find it, and then they'll be up there, and then you'll just kind of scroll through, look, and see what you can find, And you compare as best as you can.
I have to give you kudos, Daniel, because no matter what obstacle would come your way, I mean, it was like, you could tell, like, it was frustrating and it was stressful, but you would just move forward. Like, I mean, it was like, okay, I got to figure this out. And I think so. For those of you tuning in, Daniel had an amazing milestone of opening up his brick and mortar restaurant in Rittenhouse area. Look at that. I'm like the locals. And that was not an easy task. Obviously, I mean, I remember you tuning in one huddle, and it was like, couldn't hear back about the building codes and like all those things, that just another level of difficulty on top of being in this industry. So I guess a question to you, Daniel, is what made you take that leap? Because that was a huge leap that you took, and you did it.
It was out of necessity. So I was facing the option of either staying in the ghost kitchen, which we were not doing too well there. Not because of the food, not because of, really anything that I can have control over. It was just the model. I could only push out pasta through these delivery services, and you would just get buried underneath all the rest. So we were coming up to the end of our lease, and I was like, okay, so either I can extend the lease here for 12 months, and maybe I'll make it to the summer, or I can start looking for some real space in the area. And I was just walking through the city, just kind of, I don't know what I was doing, but I was just walking, and saw the space that was open. I made the phone call to a guy that I'd known who works in commercial real estate. He happened to work for the company that was listing it, and found it and talked about pricing, talked about what the deal was. I walked inside. It was the absolute perfect space. Everything was in there. When I say everything, I'm talking like the expensive hood equipment, like the exhaust fan that you have over top of your stove.
Yeah.
Think of that, but like on an industrial scale. Those things cost tens of thousands of dollars to get put in.
Wow.
That was already there. I mean, really, we walked in there, deep cleaned the place, put up some new paint, bought some new chairs, and we were good to go.
That's amazing.
For our equipment. So to be able to get into that it was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't overnight. I mean, it was like it's like the Cinderella story of like, oh, we saw it on the street when we were walking.
Yeah.
There the next day. It was a journey between there.
It took way longer than I thought it was. I was telling, and everybody thought it was crazy because I was. I was like, oh, well, we'll be able to turn this over in a month or two. That'd be fine. Yeah, we'll throw some paint in there. We'll get in there. We'll do some mop, sweep. We're good. Whatever. And everyone else saw it was like, this dude's insane.
All the best entrepreneurs are.
But long story short, I mean, it took us. Let's see. We left at the end of May. We got the space. We got the keys. The start of June. We didn't get open till October. So I mean, it took months to get the space open, and really, it was health department. It was the place was. Whoever was in there before, they never cleaned the restaurant. The restaurant, like, and I say never, they never cleaned it at all. The end of the night, you're supposed to clean it. They didn't clean it. There was grease everywhere, caked on dirt. There was barbecue sauce on the walls. I don't know, and this is where people were eating. So somebody had, at some point, thrown barbecue sauce on the walls. I don't know how. So we were dealing with that. Unfortunately, my business partner exited right before we were set to get open, or right before we were set to get inspected. And so that was and at that point, it was I was so deep into it because I had to get the space open. I had to get it open. I wanted to get it open in September. I'm sorry. We got it open in September. So September 15th.
Yeah, because we're at a month today.
We're at a
this week,
this is what's I don't know what date is.
Time. Yeah.
So there were so many things that were happening, and keep in mind there's always the other business side of things. I had to purchase some new equipment. I had to get rid of the old equipment that was in there.
Yeah.
Paperwork, taxes.
Hiring.
I mean, all hiring. And there was a lot that had to get done. So really, it was just I had a schedule. Every day I was up at 5, and I'd start working at 6, and then just plug away until 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, just on stuff. And I think that's what did it, was just nonstop working to get us to the point, because once my business partner left, it was really everything else was on me to finish. So I didn't really I didn't have any option other than to all right, well, it's 16-hour days for.
Yeah. You need a vacation, Daniel. Are you going to take one?
Oh, I plan on it. Oh, absolutely. My girlfriend and I, we are planning. She wants to go to Aruba. I don't know. I want to. I personally, I don't care where we go as long as there's a beach and a plane involved. I don't care.
Yes. So, just any change of scenery from what you do. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is it's been so fun to see your journey. I mean, I know it was been such a grind for you, and like I said, you deserve that vacation, and now you're open and it's alive. I mean, talk about immediate gratification. You have a restaurant in the heart of Philly. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I feel like it still hasn't hit me. I don't know why, but I feel like it's still. But and the customers really like it, and that to me is I guess what I'm really focused on is just making sure that people really, really like the food and they want to come back.
Yeah.
That's right now. That's been my main concern, is just the customers right now.
Yeah. Well, I know as soon as I get the chance to come to Philly, you're the first stop after my plane lands, and it's so exciting, and we're so appreciative of your wisdom to share with everyone that's in this area. It's such a this is, like I said, everyone that's out there that's in this industry, like keep your head up, keep moving forward. Daniel, you're an amazing example of that. Like just like hanging on to what you can control and leaning into the people that can help. Like I know you were on your own at the end, but
but I wasn't. That's the one thing I did realize. I was not. My girlfriend was by my side the entire time. My family was there. My family. I know we're gonna do a thing, but my family. This is a really funny story. So we had the opening night, and way more people signed up than I thought. We had some like 90 people sign up. I think we must have had 60 or 70 people show up for the opening night. And we were giving away free beer. We had a whole plan of like doing a raffle. But oh my God, that space filled up so quickly and everybody ordered at once. And I was the only cook back there.
Oh my gosh.
And my mom and my dad, who are both in their 60s, were back there. My dad, he had on these big giant rubber gloves. He was grabbing a mop, and my mom was moving around the kitchen. She was throwing mozzarella in the fryer, and my brother was in there just it was awesome. My girlfriend, she was expediting, and she had never done expediting, which as in a restaurant, that's like a sous chef position. You typically don't have somebody who's never expedited before. You don't have them do the job, but she did an awesome job. And so it was an incredible night. And I really, really realized like I'm not alone in this. I have my family. I have my people surrounding. I can lean into people. I can lean into Bunker Labs has been an awesome. I was able to talk to Alex and Mike, who's in the cohort as well, and just people who are in the industry. So, you're never really actually alone, even though as an entrepreneur it may seem that way. You're really not.
Oh, I love that. It's so true, and it's why we do what we do, to make sure that people that feel like they're alone. It's like no, there's people out there that are right with you, and it's the value of the community that we have. And it's just been so fun to have you on, Daniel. We're so appreciative of your time. Be sure to follow you on Instagram. I know it's Farina Pasta. What's the official handle for you?
It's at Farina Noodle.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone follow on Instagram. For those of you that are local in Philly, definitely check out the new restaurant that opened up. Again, that is in the Rittenhouse area. Thank you very much. But thank you so much, Daniel. And we're just wishing you the best of luck to many more locations across the country.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah. In conclusion, I do want to make sure that we acknowledge our virtual event sponsors, MetLife Foundation and the Gannett Foundation. The MetLife Foundation is committed to supporting veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs. In addition, the foundation also provides mentorship and financial health resources to veterans and military spouses in transition into the workforce. A Community Thrives, a program funded by the Gannett Foundation and part of the USA Today Network, invests in community building initiatives across the country with the goal of creating a positive change through service to historically marginalized and other under-resourced groups. So amazing work that they're doing. Thank you so much for sponsoring this event so we can share amazing stories like Daniel's with our community. You're not alone, for those of you listening. And be sure to subscribe to the Transition podcast that is also presented by the MetLife Foundation, where we demystify the entrepreneur experience for veterans and military spouses of early stage startups and small businesses across the United States. You can listen to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast hosting platform. We'd greatly appreciate if you subscribed, rated, and left us a review. I feel like I'm an official podcaster. I'm always listening to podcasters, and now I'm like, woo. And if you want to get plugged into the Bunker Labs community even more, visit bunkerlabs.org. From there, be sure to get connected to Bunker Online, where you can learn more about our programs that are designed for you specifically and where you are in your business. And we'll take you from idea to invoice. So it is possible. Keep moving forward. Have the success that Daniel's had, and just be there to join with each other and traverse this crazy entrepreneurial journey that we've chosen. All right, with that, we're gonna wrap. But it's been so fun to be here with you guys.
Awesome, thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel.